should get. All right. Woo hoo hoo. Come on. Come on. Wow, here we go. Episode 11. Inking CROM pages. Live from OBS Studio. Oh boy. All right. It's going to be interesting. All right. Let me send a message out to. Man, this is great. Here we go. YouTube. We got Instagram and Facebook notified. Oh boy. Talk about technological superiority here. All right. Here we go. All right. I can see YouTube here. There's my hand. Yes. All right. Good. Whew. All right. So why are we using OBS Studio to live stream? This is a test. Jake and I have been experiencing issues with Riverside.fm over the last couple of months, and our thoughts have come true, which is we've just Riverside has exceeded our necessity. It actually is just not useful for the way that we want to run our podcast / live streaming. So we are actually returning to OBS. When we first started, we were doing OBS, and then it was a Video Ninja. So that will be coming very, very soon. So I figured I would use this CROM account to just test out the OBS setup and studio. It's connected live to CROM the Barbarian YouTube channel. I'm supposed to see the chats here. And yeah, I've said this over and over again. I'll keep repeating it. My belief is that if you're going to want to succeed as a creative in this technologically advancing world, streaming, especially live streaming, I think is a really great. Hey, Bad Merc! Woo! I see you in the chat. This is great. So everything so far is working. I'm not the most technologically advanced person, but if you're scared, it's okay. Since yesterday into today, for a couple hours yesterday and a couple hours today, I have been using Gemini and YouTube how-to videos to get me this far. So this is pretty damn exciting. But we're here to ink page 5, or get some ink down on page 5 from Jamie Barrows, written and penciled Barbarians of the Pit, which will be in CROM Anthology number 2. So let's throw some inks down. Let me move this over here. This was page 4 yesterday, which is looking really nice. Of course, all of this wonderful ground that I put down with liquid masking and spray paint was a real big black spray paint when I had already put down the wash. So we'll be returning to this page, but today we just want to put some skeletal black and white lines down. Daryl, what's going on, guys? I'll probably repeating this a couple times. I'm on a new platform, which is OBS, or a new encoder to transmit through to the. So if my audio is wacky or video doesn't look clear enough for you, please give me some heads up. But I'm assuming everything is working super fine right now. Okay, I don't need to. Don't need this anymore, do we? All right. Good, looking good. Whew. Lord of Fleck. Oh, Lord of Fleck. Okay. I saw Bat Merc there, recommended you, and I'm checking you out. All right. Well, welcome. Welcome. What are you working on? Are you a comic book artist or a big fan of Sword and Sorcery Indian comics? If you'd like to share, it's always welcome here on the chat. But if you want to just hang, just hang. Bat Merc is the man when it comes down to it. His channel is one of my favorites now. Definitely throwing down some great reviews of some great comics. Causing my bank account to deplete slowly but surely. This is what I wanted to do. So I used bloody black. Just gonna nail this damn thing to here it is. So I used in the grounding process of these pages, prepping. I used a Tombow black water-based brush marker just to fill in some of these black areas. So then when I went through the washing process with the water-soluble graphite and like the last page I showed, the airbrushing with spray paint cans and stuff, this really gets fuzzy, which is something I really enjoy having. I call it an airbrushing effect. But I don't really want to jump. I don't want to push these black solid lines inking, with like my Fudenoski in here. So I'm actually just going to work on top of it to create some more texture for her hair. Black colored pencil. And black Prismacolor pencils are one of my go-to in giving me a really sweet texture, without it being really solid and flat black, like ink gives. So it'll be really cool to see the combination of effects with the Tombow and the black colored pencil here, Prismacolor pencil. And that's all I'm doing right now is just tightening up the page with some more, as I call it, black outlining or skeletal, framework we all love seeing, which is the line work. Yeah. It is the same character. Gardner Francis Fox and John Gwynta, 1950s, invented this Conan type character. It's believed that the rights to Conan the Barbarian was they were held by a literary agent by the name of Glenn Lord, and he was not a big fan of comics, so he did not want to see Robert E. Howard's work in comic book form. So Fox and Gwynta got smart, and the famous way to get around copyright is to change 7 aspects, if you will, of a character, which pretty much alters it away from the actual character. So they did that by blonde hair. He uses different. He calls him. The character's called CROM. It's great stuff. And of course, it is in the public domain. And I'm also the custodian of the Gardner Francis Fox Library, which houses 156, all 156, I should say, of his pulp paperback vintage novels, which range from science fiction, sword and sorcery, which is Kothar, Kyric, Niles of the Far Travel. Yeah, like the Sumerian does today. So Fred does again. Yeah, it's all comic books. It's all fun. It's to have a good time. So since it's a public domain character, I've been very much endorsing and really getting people excited about playing around with this character. And then, of course, getting it together in a anthology. Let me show that off. So this is anthology number 1. CROM Anthology number 1, 256 pages of black and white sword and sorcery goodness. Individual comics, some of them in serial form, some not. They're just sort of just individual fun. And there's some Gardner Fox stories that have been illustrated by me, expanding upon the lore of CROM and his world. But yeah, just some old comic books. His sister Lala. There's a CROM pinup I did. Just finished doing the inks on a continuation of CROM and the Serpent's Lair by John Molina, written and penciled, inked by me with this great Amerimanga. So welcome. I hope you like what you're seeing, and stick with us, because the whole idea here is to build a nice community. That's a community with an R. Community with an R. So really excited and having a good time. Grab out my Shimpitsu. Get some. Looks awesome. Thank you very much, Lord of Fleck. I'm going to have to find myself a copy. CROMthebarbarian.com is where we live. Get over there. You can make purchases. It's not only CROM comics. A lot of really good indie sword and sorcery stuff is in there. Get on the newsletter. I do put out the newsletter here and there, especially when there are good amount of updates happening in CROM's world when it gets to CROM Anthology number 2, which is being worked on, not only by myself, but by others. Stories have been completed, pages have been submitted, some stuff is still out there. 25 artists, creators have submitted. Still a couple, I think about five or six stories are still out there in the works, but curating number 2 and number 3 down to 120-ish pages. So we're looking for a summer release, and I'm doing these live streams on CROM's YouTube channel to give updates, but also just get some work done and create a hangout for like-minded individuals. Basically indie comics and sword and sorcery, fantasy, action, adventure. This is going to come out really nice. We got 2 battling female barbarians here. Just want to check, make sure everything's good. Mystery Eye, what's happening? Daryl, what's happening? Looking good. Looking good. Why doesn't it show anything over here? Start, select stream. Already did. Switch, refresh. All right. I'm just checking out my OBS here. Of course, the chat's on the other side of the screen. I'm going to have to check. I'm going to have to move it the next time I do it. I'm like craning my head trying to make sure I see everybody's. Grappling right now. Nice little chilly day. Very nice. Windows open. Get a good old-fashioned wrestling showdown in this story. Really enjoying Working on Jamie's pages. Pencils. Might try to do like a chainmail effect on this. Skirt. On these pages, since I created such a gritty background, you know, focusing in on where I'm at right now, I can see lightly the pencils as I printed them out on this 13 by 19, but I really want to stay as solid to the pencils that Jamie's put down, you know, so I am concentrating. I'm trying to, I think of something to say, and then the next thing you know, I'm like, it's the thigh, and then it goes to the knee, and then from there. So I really don't want to take anything away from Jamie's pencils. I really just want to embellish them. I want to add to what it is that he was seeing in the story. I think so far so good, but we won't know until it's all said and done. So one of the tricky things about working in the experimental way that I do is sometimes you can get a little carried away and you're really just making a mess. And trust me, I've done that many a times, and we'll probably do it a few more. But when you make a mess, you got to clean it up. And cleaning up could just kind of add a ridiculous amount of work to something that just didn't need that much attention to it. It's something I've been learning about with comics, you know, is this how much to give, you know, how much is necessary in putting down on the paper in order to tell the story. And because you want to entertain, you want to put down a lot of information, but you also don't want to overdo it. Because I don't have everything figured out, believe it or not. Like for instance here, I'm going to have to take a chance. So with the water-soluble graphite being primarily the washy effect that I have put on this page with the bonuses that I've done here and there. So this transition, it's very easy to just bring a pencil out and, make some things happen. One of the things I love about pencil, is the smudging, which kind of takes out like anything necessarily specific. Though I'm looking over here, like I could take this out. I don't really need any of this. I think needed. Kind of like this stuff, but I think it might be a little too much. But I don't know if I want to bring back in just some white like that, just to mess it around. But if I want to erase that, I can too. But right now, that's fine. I'm not that obsessed with it. That's something I'll be doing on the last pass. Flowing. Imagine this character to be this female character like a Valkyrie. Got snatched up by the wizard from Valhalla. Or maybe she was on the way to a battlefield covered in the dead. This wizard snatched her up to fight for his amusement. When I get Jamie on here, when I have the 11 pages, worked up to this level, I'm gonna get Jamie on and I'm gonna talk CROM and comics and maybe even some of the backstories. I don't know if everybody does that. Some people might do it too much. It's too deep. Too deep for comics. But I know it's kind of one of the things that happens to me when I not only read comics, but and really fall in love with a comic, but when I'm working on one, it's coming up with more lore, possible story connections, whys, what ifs. And honestly, as a creative, that's kind of the funnest point doing this. It's just letting your imagination run wild. And you don't need any formal training to do that. Yankamari, good morning. I'm gonna lurk while I make breakfast. You must be out, like in maybe the West Coast. Because right now it's 12 o'clock here, which West Coast time is 8. So that's a good breakfast time. Especially it's Saturday, right? Out partying all night. Sleeping a little. I remember those days. Keep thinking. Let me try something here. I don't like a faux chainmail linky effect. Works very well. Now, Now, when it comes to color pencils, this is a Konar Progresso woodless pencil. So I can get a little bit more of a point on this. But for this these larger masses of hair, I can really get. So I want to get a curly kind of texture on top of this. Keep referring to as a airbrush, faux airbrush technique here. Somebody's got to call me out. I did get a suggestion. It was a really good suggestion. Cake decorators have a airbrush, you know, to run food dye through, so when they're spraying on cakes and stuff. But you know, it's all the same. The reason I don't have my airbrush anymore and have not invested in an airbrush is the air compressor itself and the mess. You know, you got to wear a respirator. You have to have ventilation. You know, last thing I'm going to do in the wintertime is open the windows for 2 to 3 hours of working. And you know, for a very, very specific response, you know, you want, you know, the best thing about airbrushing is the coverage, but you know, you can get in there and make lines. You know, this dragon's got this kind of, once again, faux kind of fuzzy line effect. And I do that also with like, so washable or water-based markers, especially the kids ones, like the Crayola. They put out a really good one. Cheaper the better too, if you think about it, because and you're just looking for it to stain. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So Konar puts these out, Progressos, woodless color pencils. Good stuff. Yes, sir. West Coast. Plus, I slept. Yeah, well, of course you slept in. It's Saturday. You should. It's the weekend. Use this. I'm gonna do a chainmail texture. This is the high-tech C05. Love this pen. It's like such a sturdy rapidograph feel. A rollerball of action. Great pen. Great pen. Alright. Keep on trucking. Getting a lot of done here. So has anybody heard any news on the King Conan movie? Which I have my doubts on whether it's gonna get made and or released. Don't know. Don't know. Not been all that thrilled with the way Conan has been taken from us. Holding on to fool. Let's see. Interesting. cool. What I refer to as the Valkyrie female warrior has this, just these glowing eyes in the helmet, which also gives me even more reason to believe she's a Valkyrie. I played around with the helmet a bit, basically giving some darkness to it. I'm gonna pull the trigger and choose what's gonna be black, and what's gonna be white, it's gonna be gray. Thought was, let me bring out this boulder. So this line Jamie put in really solid black shape. I'm just going to carry it down. And of course, eyes. Thinking again, bring it that, another dark shape. Let me pull some of these lines over here. Like that. I need a pencil. Here it is. So with this OBS, I don't see. Oh no, here I found it. All right, I've been 50 minutes at this. Thinking that's going to be another black shape. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that. Yep, I'm going to do that. leave that alone. Ooh. So between these two areas, this is going to have to stay light. And then this has got to get hatched down. Maybe more stuff like that over there. But I've got another pen I'll be bringing around on the last pass on these pages, which is I believe this is 70% gray, which is the Tombow water base. And these really have an amazing effect in getting some like good dark areas in there, but not going black. And they'll complement the fuzzy washed out areas. Like you can see here, I'll do that. I'll do it right here. Look at this. Love it. Just love it. Doesn't force anything down to be black, you know, flat black. All right, now for this last panel, this dragon has me thinking, like, let me grab, like, let me show up some of the other pages. So we got page 6. This is the next page. It's going to be fun as hell. Splash page, right? Got all this great texture in here. This is the dragon, character sitting on the dragon, sword. I think it's going to even be a black sword. Really working on, you know, playing off on that. Another splashy page, which that character on the dragon, black sword. These are the other characters left alive. CROM, the 2 females, and then this bull guy. Confrontation or conversation. But in this here, let me drop this down. So this, I just am obsessed with the gelatinous kind of effect on the dragon, almost like a see-through, like the black bones and everything. But that would be really tough to carry into here. Like, I don't really have any thoughts, or haven't had any thoughts on how to bring this page with this dragon into this gelatinous, I'll bring it up to the camera, effect. They really didn't do anything prep-wise to this page other than just to play and mess with it as I did on this page, but this was the happy accident that came out of it. So it kind of carries over here. It's interesting. And there's the wings. Oh, and then you have this is page 11, which is the grand finale. So we'll see. I might not really do that much on, look at that. This is the melting, the melting wizard. That's going to be great. Fun stuff. Fun pages ahead. This whole entire story. 11 pages. Barbarians of the Pit. Oh, this is going to be a great time. A great time. All right. Okay. So we just got the silhouette. So I'll make sure I have the sword design down. I was thinking is playing more with the high-tech C, like a rapidograph line, just to keep it light and translucent for the time. Can always come back and make lines heavier. Yeah, that's working. Like I've said in the past, secret is to not make anything too precious too quickly. Give yourself a little bit of time to see the effect and whether it's going to work for you in the long run. If not, then you can change your direction midstream. But I am liking this. I'm really just following Jamie's pencils here. This was another little, just a little ticking on the scales. I'll bring a few in here. Not too much, nothing too much right now. Once again, some ticking scales. dragon for the time being. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm also going to play with gray paint markers to create a starry effect or a sunbursting kind of effect, but a little later. After I just want to throw the rest of these black lines in and call it a day, because I've literally I spent 3 hours setting up this OBS, so I'm curious to see how things, because we gotta, I like keeping archival recordings of the podcasts on CROM and Turbo. So I'm gonna check that. So here's another fun thing to have: an electric eraser, half mat. Like I said, with I'm literally like erasing. Like, here you go. So coming back up here, keep kind of playing around just to goof off and stuff. But electric erasers, especially when you have a foundation of graphite. Now it's not going to bring the page back to the white page, but it sure as hell, you know, helps in like correction and stuff. So dun, dun, dun. Once again, same thing with the helmet here. Trying to come up with another pattern. And I do have this kind of starbursty white glow off the helmet. And then I'm going to want it to go black. Bring out the heavy guns here. I'm just going to do this for the time being. Nice. Very nice. All right. There you go. Let me grab the page here, put it over here. And then you get a side by side. Jamie's pencils. The OBS monitor here. There we go. Let me just move the camera down just a little. All right. Nice session, page 5. Getting a little more attention. I will be back Monday, Tuesday-ish to get on 6. Maybe even push through on page 7 as well. Seeing how OBS treats me. So far, so good. Want to thank everybody for stopping by and bearing with me on this test, which I'm hoping to deem as a success. But as I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons I was doing this OBS test is because over on Turbo Pit Fighter every Sunday 10 to 1 o'clock Jake Jacobs and I get together and work on our comic book post-apocalyptic romance of a pit fighter and a trophy girl. We're finishing up our first comic, which is an anthology called Doom Magazine #1, which will have the next 10 pages. Is that correct? 10 pages? 8? I think it's 8, actually, excuse me. Next 8 pages. This is the first 12 pager as a teaser. And of course, I have completed inking all 28 pages, so we will be moving directly after completing Doom Magazine's #1 into Turbo Pit Fighter #1. That's not going to stay, right? Of course you're not. And of course, over at cromthebarbarian.com, dun, 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 you can get anthology #1 as well as other comics, CROM related and the such. Of course, Jamie Barrows, I've got the Cyberzerker over there, this nice little digest, full color, cyber sword and sorcery, spin on things, and as well as the completed story. These are just a couple things by Adam Bennett, CROM, Altar of the Serpent. As a matter of fact, I just got notification from Adam. He's working on another project, some 50-page project. Really excited. He's sharing some stuff with me. But, you know, as things move along, especially with getting a better understanding of how OBS and then the VDO Ninja for bringing in guests and everything. Once I start mastering that over the next month or so, I'm going to have a lot more guests come on and just draw with me, work, you know, talk shop, talk CROM, talk indie comics, and the like. So, but other than that, one last comic to show off, of course, is my original CROM 2024 collection, which is 4 stories by me, the original 4 stories in black and white, and then a 36-page illustrated short novella in there, and of course some fantastic things. So thanks again for joining me tomorrow. Come help us test out. No, we're not going to do anything tomorrow with OBS. We're gonna hold off a week because I gotta figure out some more things. So we will probably doing our last time with Riverside, but all's good, all's well, and hope you're good, and hope you're well, and thanks again, and we will see you soon.